Hey everybody, welcome to Technically Unraveled. I'm Kristen Fehrenbach, the Senior Director of our Microsoft Go-to-Market business here at Pax8. First off, thanks for joining. It is our last show of this year. This year's flown by, so we're feeling a little festive today. We're ready for the holidays. First, before we jump right in, there's so much stuff that's going to come in this next new year. We're already planning some really great content for you. So please like, share, subscribe, because we want to make sure that you're with us from the start of the year all the way to the end. As always, let's go ahead and jump right into some updates. Want to make sure we get to those first and foremost. So, Partner Center announcements. If you don't have this link saved somewhere, I want to encourage you to go ahead and bookmark it. Now, these get updated almost every single day. This is direct from Microsoft. This is anything and everything that's changing in Microsoft. They try to condense it down mostly, I'm going to put that little X right there, mostly into this one spot. But this is going to be a great resource for you to just go in, even if it's that, hey, you know what, while you're kind of warming up a little bit, drinking your coffee, just go in, check, make sure if there's anything big that's been announced. So please go ahead and just bookmark it. It'll make me feel good. Ashley Moretti will sing with joy. So please make sure you go and check out all those Partner Center announcements. All right. If you were not able to come to the December Microsoft Monthly Update, please make sure you go to pax8.com. No, wait, youtube.com/pax8cloud. Now on there, you can go and there's an entire video of everything that happened. So you can go skip to the parts that you need. If you needed a screenshot, if you need to go through and make sure you get some of those resources, it's all readily available for you. And you can even go back and see the previous months if needed. So always make sure you go check that part out. Now, there's a new blog up by David Powell himself talking all things security. So they go through sys controls, they go through education, they go through sales process. This is a brand new blog, so I wanted to highlight this one in particular, but there's so much information that all of your experts at Pax8, they put out throughout the year on this blog. So make sure you go check it out. Give David a shout. I know that he did a lot of hard work to make sure that everything went into this one. So please make sure you take just a couple minutes to do a quick read. All right, end of the year, we're holiday ready. That means that Pax8 Beyond early bird tickets are almost gone. So it's going to be the 1st of January. Early bird pricing's out the door. You're going to have to pay more. These tickets are absolutely going to sell out. So I want to make sure that we get to see you there in Denver. So please make sure you take care of that. Get that discount while it's still available. And we look forward to seeing you at Beyond. Last but not least, last week, we had Tamim directly from Microsoft on. If you were not able to see his live Copilot demo last week, I'm going to encourage you to watch last week's episode. He did a great job just kind of laying it out, and then actually did the live demo of everything of what was Bing Chat Enterprise, which is now Copilot, what goes into it, and some really easy ways to integrate that part into your business. With that, we're wrapped up our updates, and I am super happy to welcome a friendly face to the show. Britton, thanks so much for taking the time to jump in today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Happy holidays. It's fun to be with you.
Happy holidays. I love the headband, girl. So tell us who you are, what you do for us here at Pax8.
Of course, I'm Britton Tremblay-Benton, and I am your Global Go-to-Market Director for Microsoft's Modern Workplace. And we're here to talk about that gift that keeps on giving, which is generative AI.
Absolutely. It is such a topic everywhere that we're at right now, Britton. So I know you watched the recap with Tamim. I mean, really going through, it's funny, like how many different ways that people use it. It's pretty wild. So, I mean, just watching him do like even the LinkedIn post was huge for me. But anything in particular that you saw in that episode that you were like, yep, gonna be doing that?
I loved that he essentially showed you how to drive an entire marketing campaign around a brand new product just from Copilot on the web. Talk about mind blowing. I mean, he was able to go through and talk about ways that you could use that search function to bring back competitors and make comparisons when you're going to market, all the way to creating like infographic one pagers to really get it out in market and have the conversation. And I think it's just a really incredible way to introduce people to everything that's available in this free version of Copilot that Microsoft has brought forward. It was a great episode.
Thank you so much. I had a ton of fun. So I look forward to having him back in the future and how we're going to continue to work together because Britton, you know this just as well as I do. There's so much buzz around AI. So can you just kind of walk with me and explore what does that really look like from your lens?
Yes, I mean, you're right. The buzz has been something that makes us all feel like we've been talking about it for a lot longer than 1 year. But really, when we think about this buzz, Chat GPT has been around for basically a year. And it was a really standout tool that managed to get to 100 million users within the first 3 months of it being in market. That is growth that we haven't seen in probably ever, really, when we look back on other tools that have reached that kind of incredible user count. It's taken them 3, 4, 5 times the amount of time to impact the market. And some of the things that we see coming forward show us that there is no sign of slowing down. 83% of businesses are saying that AI is a top priority for them. But an interesting statistic to look at alongside of this is that only 23% of businesses have some kind of plan around AI adoption. And that is a pretty big gap, if you ask me. We at Pax8 want to help our partners to be the ones to thought lead in that gap, to get in front of their customers early and have the right conversations about how to move forward into these advanced AI technologies with the right tools in hand and the right advice from their partners.
100%. And I mean, thinking about just the spread in that gap, Britain, I'm like, everybody's interested, but like, what do I actually do? And I think that, we're having a lot of people, a lot of partners, they're coming to us saying like, our end customers want this. What do we do? Right? So this buzz, it's exciting because everybody's in it. We're all in the boat. We're all rowing, right? But buzz can sometimes create a little bit of confusion that might need to be demystified because while everybody's excited, what does that all mean? So there's a lot of people talking about it. But I mean, who do we listen to? What do we do? Where do we start here?
That's a really good question. And one of the things that I think is important around buzz, like you're mentioning, is to make it actionable. So when you hear some of these 83% of businesses that want to make AI a top priority, asking the question about what it is about AI that makes it a top priority for them is a fantastic place to begin with the partner so that they can really understand what solution within this big blanket of generative AI that their customer is interested in the first place. Because you don't want the conversation about the tools to outpace your customer's readiness to actually use the tools. So before you go too deep into what is available, level setting with your customers around what it is that they are truly looking to accomplish is a great place to know where the conversation really begins between you and your customer.
Goodness. So you talk about these tools, all right? I want to clarify what these tools are. Like, what are we supposed to do with these tools? Because there's a lot out there, right? I mean, people can go to a lot of different places, a lot of different sources. So let's just clarify a little bit what that is.
Yes, definitely. So you're not wrong. There are many places that have tools now that are calling themselves, generative AI tools or advanced or enhanced by generative AI. We won't see that slowing down either. There will be lots and lots of new additions to tools that already exist. But one of the things that makes Microsoft tools so different is that Copilot truly is a platform of its own. So, as we saw Bing Chat Enterprise come into the fold of being officially a part of Copilot, we can truly say that Copilot is the platform that's at the center of Microsoft's AI movement. And it expresses through various apps or the web, like we saw with Tamim. And this means that when you're consulting around what your customer is really looking to achieve, you'll be able to see the conversation that should continue and which co-pilot would be the best fit, depending on where it is that they really need that support. So if it is around things like CRM or ERP, then of course you want to be looking at some of these options that will be available in Dynamics 365. But if they're looking for support within their Teams meetings, their Outlook inbox, the things that they're building within Word, those are going to be a big part of M365 Copilot. And again, these all really get kicked off right here on the web with Copilot on the web. And that is Tamim's episode from last week. So I'd love for you guys to get a chance to look at that. But it can easily be accessed by M365 users at copilot.microsoft.com. And it is a great place when you're trying to talk your customer through what an AI can do for their business without having to bring one completely into their environment yet, which has a whole different set of readiness that you'd want to take part in before you did that.
Goodness. So, we were watching Ignite, and then we heard about the name change of Bing Chat Enterprise into Copilot. And I was like, all right. So everything's a Copilot, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let me roll this around in my head. And I'm like, okay, so just Copilot's that basic platform overall. And that's what Microsoft's really going to market with and saying, Copilot is our AI. Is that the way that you're seeing it?
Yes, it's an AI orchestration tool. So it's taking the foundational information underneath it, whether or not that's the web or inside your own tenant when you start to adopt things like M365 Copilot. It's going to orchestrate the AI to be able to move through the data underneath it and then express back through the app. Or Copilot on the web, of course, is going to express back through a chatbot type interface where you're really just using natural language to ask questions and get real solutions back in real time.
The fact of being able to just type into Copilot exactly the way that you and I are talking right now and say, you know what? It was really funny. The other day, I could not remember the name of the conference room that I needed to book. So I went in and I was like, okay, I knew the name of a different one. I was like, okay, so I typed in that one. And it was kind of an obscure name. So I was like, I think it'll work. And it popped right up. So it's funny the different ways that people are going to start utilizing this as we go forward. And obviously, since that's looking at our Pax8 data, I was using the M365 side. But I mean, I know that even if we didn't have that, the amount of times that I use the Bing or regular Copilot now, I'm going to get it right, I swear. It's pretty wild just how we're starting to already introduce that into our day-to-day workspaces. So I know that partners might not already be ready to take some of the actions of maybe letting Copilot into their tenants. But can you tell me a little bit about what some of those actions should be and what are we on the lookout for, Britton?
Oh, for sure. Yes, I agree with you there. Once you start to look at these tools where you're bringing the Copilot into your environment, there are three major things that we really recommend to focus on. This is identity access, data management, and unified security. And of course, identity access is around that right time, right person access, because before an AI is in your environment, a person is either going to have to accidentally bounce into a file that they're not meant to open or be a threat actor who's intentionally trying to get files that they're not meant to open. But if you have an advanced AI that searches the way that Copilot can, and you're not taking care of your identity access, you're going to get a lot of things served up to you quite quickly that you may not want all of the identities in your business to have access to. So, knowing what you're doing with your identity access is a huge part. It goes hand in hand, of course, with data management. So, for that same reason, not only protecting the data that's there, but bringing the data that's not in the cloud to the cloud. It's going to enhance your Microsoft graph. And that is the data that's being used to fuel those internal versions of Copilot that are working with your own business data.
So when I think about Copilot, Britton, I mean, I know that everybody's really excited about this M365 version, right? And they're like, hey, you know what? My customers are wanting this. But that data piece, and I mean, Elliot Chandler is going to be out here jumping up and down because I'm going to make our modern work lead talk about Azure for a minute, because if that data's not in the cloud, it's useless. What happens, Brenton?
Right. An AI is internally inside your organization is only as good as the data it can get to. So if the data is not in the cloud and it cannot be touched by the AI, then you're not going to get the result that you're looking for from the richness of what could be available to you if you had migrated, modernized, really moved as much of your business into the Azure cloud as possible. And again, even thinking as far as adopting things like Dynamics 365 so that it could help you support your sales outreach and other things.
Goodness. So, because I think we always have these identity conversations, we have the security conversations, and obviously that's why we're telling people, hey, business premium is so important because you can start to align to these sys controls. This is what's going to help make sure that you're safe, the identities are safe. So when you're looking at this, and right now it would be available to somebody that's on standard, does standard have those same security metrics and things to protect people that maybe business premium would?
Unfortunately not. And that is why at Pax8, we really hone in on that unified security message. When you're looking at what's available with Microsoft M365 tools, we would recommend working with Business Premium E3 or E5, because just to your point, you want to make sure that you have the ability to direct the AI to behave the way that you want it to when it is inside your environment. And the way to do that is by making sure that your M365 tools have things like data management capabilities, identity access capabilities, and then also have advanced endpoint capabilities and some of the other features that are really in those more advanced SKUs. Because the conversation that comes before the AI is still a security conversation. Best practices didn't fly out of the window just because we have a brand new technology to work with. It actually makes them more important than ever.
Oh, I love that. It absolutely just like hones in, because Britain, we spent all of security. We spent all of security. We spent all of October talking about security. And that's really just leading us right down this AI journey, because security month, we're right. I mean, it feels like it was a long time ago. It really wasn't. It was just October, right? But like that's really just ramping us up into getting ready for when Copilot's ready for the channel. Is that the way we're kind of feeling?
That's entirely right. Cybersecurity month, we can call it AI readiness month. It's all the same. That's right. Because when you think about the chance to make sure that you're thought leading in this space, these are important questions that you need to be asking of your customer's environment and of your customers to get into a more advanced AI posture with them. And I think that it gives a really exciting reason to get engaged with it too, because sometimes the cybersecurity conversation is more about all of the risks that are out there and some of the things that are not as fun to go to market with your customers. But use this buzz, like let the AI buzz support you in having those important conversations about your customer security that are just simply best practices, whether or not Copilot is the end destination.
100%. And we're seeing obviously, like I said earlier, these customers coming to the partners and saying, hey, I want this. And I Britton, I mean, well, kind of walk me through what that talk track might be if I'm the partner talking to this customer that might be on basic. They might be on standard, but not have the security metrics. I mean, if you're the partner, is this your upsell motion right here?
That's entirely right. And I think, just like we mentioned earlier, taking the buzz and making it actionable. So, listening to the customer, hearing what they have to say about why they want to bring AI into the business, what it is that they expect it to do for them. And then, once you've heard them out and really understand what they're aiming for, that is your chance to talk about the architecture that needs to happen to get there. And by taking those identity access, data management, and unified security steps, you can walk them through exactly how you're going to enable them in AI readiness. And then you'll be ready to really adopt any of these co-pilots as they come forward. Because, like we said, Microsoft intends to have a co-pilot for every Microsoft experience. So we're only going to see more and more of them come towards us. Getting them ready for any of those to come into their environment is the right choice for how you should begin.
I love it. So we're going to get in there. We're going to really solidify your security foundation, and then we'll be able to stack on all the co-pilots as they're needed. But we're going to do it in a secure manner at that point.
Yes, and you can start with Copilot on the web, because having that conversation today about how important it is for there to be data protection behind the AI tools that you're using starts today. And that's something that can be really easily expressed. You can even train your customers on how to work with that, which is giving them some of that skilling that they'll desire from you, whether that's helping them by coaching them on prompts, teaching them about the data protection qualities of working with Copilot on the web, helping them with their environment to ensure that their customers or their end users are not using other AIs that maybe don't have that type of protection and that you would like to see them not open up in their web browser. These are all actions that can be being taken today, as well as getting them in the right M365 SKUs and getting all of that data moved up into Azure. So you've got plenty of steps you could be taking today that will mean that you'll have a great Copilot experience in the future.
Excellent. So I talked a little bit about like just a random way that I had used Copilot, but Britton, I've learned a lot about Copilot and M365 Copilot from you. So can you tell me just a couple ways that you might use each one and like why you would use one over the other?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that one of the places that is really exciting for a lot of users, myself included, is the capabilities available in Teams. So if you're somebody that finds yourself double booked, it's one of those tools that can really help you to not only summarize the meetings that you're in, but have recaps of meetings that you could not make it to. It can really help for you to hone in on what the major action steps were with the team. If you've got like us, we get to work with incredible global teams. Sometimes you're on a call with many, many, many people. And to be able to have a tool that can help you call out exactly who is owning what by the end of that conversation saves a lot of time over time. Now, there are other tools within the apps that we use, like PowerPoint. So this one is a great one. You can really work with PowerPoint to not only help create images to support some of your things that you'll be presenting, you can also use it to help fill the slides, working alongside even Copilot on the web if you want to help with researching, summarizing, and analyzing the data that you have. And it's very easily exportable between the different tools because they work together so seamlessly.
Goodness. And I just love how it's taking some of these tasks that would really just kind of drag on Britain, because I would go to this meeting, right? And I would sit here with my tablet instead because I have not used it and I really should because I bought it, right? But I don't find myself using this nearly as much anymore. because I'm not having to sit here and say, hold on, I got to write this down. I'm actually engaging and I'm having these live conversations with people with the know-how that Copilot's actually taking down these actions. They're talking about it in Britain. One thing that really I loved within it is that, it would timestamp exactly when this was said, because there was one meeting that I missed and I was like, wait, I need more context. And I was able to click on the little number. It brought me back to the meeting recording and actually played that section. And I was like, oh, that's my go-do. That's important. Okay, perfect. And I was able to kind of just not even be there, but still able to take my action from that. So I thought that was super neat.
I love that. And you hit something that I think is so important. It's working with the tool to get some of that presence back. Because, yes, when the speed of work is coming at you, that you feel almost like you're just trying to keep up with what needs to come next. Not that all of us are writing on a pad. I find myself grabbing paper sometimes, depending on how fast the information is coming. But knowing that you've got Copilot in the background doing those things for you does allow for you to get into the meeting more, for you to really ask the deeper questions and to get more out of our human creativity by allowing the AI to step in and help with the things that do feel a little bit more like the repetitive tasks around the actual actions that we want to take. I think that that's a great use case, and I love that too.
The AI is helping us be more human. That's what we're. I love it. I love it. Britton, it is always amazing to have you on the show. I just want to say thank you so much for the time. You are our last show of the year. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you a lot this next year as well.
Thanks for having me. Love to be here. And I cannot wait to see how the partners are utilizing Copilot. Let us know. And in the meantime, we are here to help you with all of your readiness needs. Thanks for having me on, Kristen. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our last show of the year. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and we will see you this next year. Bye.